In this video, we're going to be discussing standard deviation. So standard deviation is a measure of how much all values deviate from the mean value, or in other words, how spread out they are. So standard deviation is another measure of spread. So we have seen before range and interquartile range. This is another measure of spread that we're interested in. Now there's two formulas that we can use to work it out. So we've got the square root of 1 over n times by the sum. So that is a way of we adding up lots of values of your value x, take away your mean value. Remember, x bar is your mean value. And we're squaring that and then summing up what we've got here. The other way is to square our x values, sum them up and divide by how many there is. And then we're going to take away the sum of those x values over n and then squaring that value. So let's have a look at an example. So we're asked to work out the standard deviation of the data below. So we've got 20, 18, 20, 22, 22, 25, and 19. So we're basically looking for a rough guidance of how these numbers differ from what would be the mean. So our first step is going to be working out the mean. So remember, our mean x bar is the sum of our individual values. So that's what this notation means, over how many there is. So our sum of x is if we add up all these values, so 20 plus 18 plus 20, 21 plus 18 plus 20 and so forth, which is going to give us 147. So our x bar, our mean, is going to be 147 over how many there is. Well, there's 7 values, which is going to give us 21. So the way I'm going to write out my working, so I've got my initial values here. I'm going to write out my x bar below. So I'm going to write it out underneath each one of those numbers there. Now our formula, if I just clean that up here, our formula we're going to use is we're going to use this top one for this example. Some examples, they give you different values, so they might give you these things here. So you would use them. But for this example, I'm going to use this top formula. So I'm going to slowly piece together this thing. So I'm going to start by doing the subtraction inside the bracket, x minus x bar. So here is our x's. This is our x bar, so we're going to do subtraction. So we're going to get 0, minus 3, minus 1, 1, 1, 4, and minus 2. So this was x minus x bar. Now I need to square all these values. So I'm going to do x minus x bar all squared. 0, 9, 1, 1, 1, 16, and 4. So now I've got all those bits there. I can now do my sum of x minus x bar squared, which is just going to be all these values added up. So if I add up all those values, I get 32. So now we can just finish off our formula. Standard deviation equals the square root of 1 over n, so in this case our n is 7, multiplied by this thing, which is 32. Now if we put this into a calculator, we're going to get 2.138 dot dot dot. So our standard deviation, a rough guidance for how our values deviate from our mean, is 2.138.